Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangled Drifts from CZT Christianne Gerstner. Now, Chris is was a classmate, CZT 20. I remember sitting, I think she was sitting in front of Mom and I. It was one of the last days, and we did a lot of like team, stuff or something, and so I got to know her. And when I saw the name, I'm like, oh, and then I had to double check because it's been a number of years. So anyway, very, very cool. This is a border tangle, and it's rather neat. And yes, I'm going to just do it diagonal here and add a little bit of a curve to it. I hope you like orbs because this one is orb filled. Now the only one challenge, which is not really too bad of a challenge, is I really like the way Chris did hers, and I wanted to keep my sections a little smaller because it was a neat effect, but it doesn't really matter. And I share that so that way also to tell you, go to the description section and look at the for more inspiration link so you can see Chris's work, and give you some other ideas. I think she had, at least there's at least one variation on there, but do check that out. Okay, so once you have, so I said it's a border tangle. We're gonna have a set of double lines, so aura lines as your border, and then this you just have to pay attention. It's not that it's tricky, but it's tricky-ish. All right, so I'm just gonna start here on this side, and let me make sure. Oh, that light. Hold on. I haven't said it in a while. I try to do these in one take. So, it's the no mistakes in Zentangle and no mistakes in my video. The only time is unless it's a really, something really bad, or I mispronounce somebody's name. or I had the wrong name. I don't know how I did that, but that's when I'll do a retake. Okay, so we're going to essentially draw like V's or W's throughout, but there's a little bit of a trick. So starting with the first line where you're going to start is fine. Although, if you start in the middle, or somewhere where you're going to continue the other side, maybe come down a little bit from here, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go all the way to the line below. The second line, we're essentially going to aura this, but this one I'm going to come from the top line, and I'm going to come down not quite to the end. Now, as I was doing this, here's what I found this rhythm, but I didn't know if it would make sense in the step out or not. I like the rhythm that she has, thinking, okay, on this side, and then, doing another double line, and then another double line like this. But so we have this, and we're drawing essentially a V, right? And then from the bottom line, we're going to draw a V also, but this we're going to separate because we're auraing this. We're not coming to a point here. We're separating it a little bit. And that's where the trick is. So this one is not coming all the way up to the top and then coming down. And then we repeat. So from the top, again, a little separated, coming almost to that double line, and then back up. It may, I don't know. It's one of those where I was trying to figure, could I capture this so it makes sense? Sometimes it just makes more sense saying it. But if I mess with it, look in the description section. I'll put new, new step out or something, and then this one, which is basically going to be like that. So, looking at it this way, we have a series of, well, it'll go the other way, V's, and then flipping, of course, and we have another set of V's. Again, this is the trick right here, is not bringing that point all the way down. So then after this, it is just an orb fest. So on all of these lines, we're going to do orbs. Now, this is, as I'm telling this to myself, this is the opportunity, Heather, to go slower. Because as you can see here, mine get a little sloppy from where they meet and end. And I find if I go nice and slow, focus on my pen and where it's going, and again, not going too fast, then I'm a lot more happier with them. And it's always nice. Now, the way I started this was I'm doing the top line. It doesn't matter which way you do it. I'm doing the top line and then the bottom line, and then I'll come in and do the diagonals. And I'll tell you, at first, I was like, "Oh, this will take forever. They might not like this one." I like the end result though, and that's the whole thing. And reminding myself, Zentangle is, I mean, yes, it's about really cool patterns, but more than that, it is about, um, well, almost more than that. I think the biggest thing is it's about our individual journey, whatever that may be. It's different for everybody through this art form, but also the meditative process. And we get that by repetition and having these repetitive strokes. See, I'm just going to go ahead and start this one right here. I could go like this, and we'll do a little partial one. Yeah, and so doing the repetitive orbs, and then just focusing in on them. And like I said, it's a lot of times not necessarily a point of contention that I have with orbs, but I just know I need to slow down and be careful and just watch the pen. Just watch the pen and focus on what the pen is doing. And you don't have to think much past that except for just trying to fit that orb within that space. And a lot of times, some hints on these, if you end up with gaps between, like right here, I start sometimes on the orb before it. So right on that line. And then I can work my way out. And that's the other thing about going slow, is that then you can hit all of these points. And sometimes if you think of it, if you picture bubbles in something, and they don't quite fill the space, but they'll fill just as much of it as possible. And so if as you think about that, and then become one with that bubble, channel your inner soap bubble, and see what you can do. Sometimes it just helps to visualize that as you're doing it. And again, like I said, going slow is key. There is a tangle called Nzepple. If you've not explored that, it's N''ZEPPLE, and that's one where we talk about the bubble filling the space and getting into as close in to all of the corners as possible, and it's a fun tangle. And it's not orb shaped; they're different shaped, but similar idea. Hence why I wanted to share it. Okay, so this we have one more step, and that step is the tangle enhancement of the rounding, or the tangle enhancer called rounding. And so, and if you can see, let me do that here again. So inside these triangles that we created, we're just rounding off that corner and then fill it in. Now, I will leave it up to you. Usually when I do orbs like this, I'll fill in behind. But it's a personal choice. It leaves it kind of open and airy. But when you fill in behind, it gives it a little bit different look, maybe a little bit finished. Okay, so here's my challenge with these, is I need to have them merge to and from the line so I don't have that little bump that you saw, and then I just created a new one. So the nice thing about filling in is it's a course corrector. So you can just kind of go over just a little bit with your pen and smooth it out. You know what? Here's what I might do. I'll fill in part of like half of this with half of the little crevices with the orbs. I'll do partly, and that way you can see the difference. And this, I wouldn't necessarily, try to make these here too small, but at the same time, we don't want them to take over. It's nice to have this open space. And if my memory is serving, there was Chris had one nice little variation, just putting a little orb in the center of these, and I thought that was really neat. I mean, you could of course decorate it how you like, but it's nice to see the examples from the originator of the tangle. All right, and this too takes some extra care. And because we have to focus all of our attention on it, that's what I call it a side effect, because of the meditation or mindfulness, the effects of that, the relaxation, the oh my gosh, I can sleep better. I've actually had it take away some migraine pain in the past. Oops, and I think this would have one right here, just a partial. Maybe not there. Here I got. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to, let's cut it in half here. So this half, just again, filling in these little gaps. And that way you can see. It's also, as mine sometimes can be sloppy, sometimes it's a nice extra thing. Plus, you can kind of do a little bit of course correcting if need be with this. I try to be careful though, because when you're putting your pen down, so close to the edge, it's easy to kind of have it go outside of, and I just don't like those bumps. So what I end up doing is, and I'll end up doing this in a moment, is I'll just carefully run my pen over the line, just like as if I'm oh, there's a word, I've lost it. It'll come back in a moment. Here, let me get this. I'm gonna make this this will be the half. Redefining, that's the word. Redefining the line, and so I'm not necessarily working to make it thicker. It just sometimes it happens just by the mere act of doing it. Let's just fill all that in there. Okay, so you can kind of see how this is a bit bumpy here. So what I would do is start. Well, I'll do the whole line. Let's start over here. That'll work better. And I'm just being careful. And I'm my aim is to draw right over that line, but not going that direction. Let's just go out a little bit. Sometimes the pen has a mind of its own, but there you go. So you can see how that just neatened that up a little bit. And that's what I end up doing. And even inside here, and make sure to move, if you're doing this, move your tile, work slow, and just be careful. You can do it in, with the orbs, although this, there's not a lot of room, but like right there, I could just put a little bit of a line. Like I said, it just neatens it up a little bit, and sometimes that's just what you need. Is it just needs to be neatened up just a hair. I noticed that this has gone out of focus, or maybe it was out of focus the whole time. There we go. It's a little better. But yeah, so this is the idea of coloring in between. This is leaving it as it is, and it's up to you. Up to you completely. That is the tangle. I'm going to put these little orbs in the center because I just thought that that was just an adorable addition. Oh, not there. And as far as shading goes, you could, well, okay, there's lots of things. You could, and you know what? Actually, I'm gonna hit pause. I'm gonna finish this up because it's gonna bother me. So I'm gonna hit pause, and if you're tangling along with me, you hit pause as well. And I'm gonna finish these up, and then I'll come back and um, we'll do some shading. Okay, hit and pause. Okay, all tidied up. All right, so there's probably a number of ways that you can shade this, or you can just leave it as it is, and that's okay too. Here's what I'm gonna do. I am gonna just put a little graphite along the top and along the bottom. We'll start there, and if you've followed me, oops, I see some places that I missed, but that's okay. And you know what? If you end up doing shading, you may not have to do all of those little fill-ins because the shading kind of covers it up. All right, so what I'm going to do, and actually, let's see, I've lost my little thin, oh wait, here's one, it's better. I had a tortilla that had such a little thin end, it was so nice. So what I'm aiming for here is really to only cover like half of these, just so it adds, yeah, some dimension, just some shape. And I'm almost thinking of this as an entire piece versus each little thing. So it would be too much to think of each orb individually. But let's take a look at that. Just that. And honestly, I didn't put that much in. Let me just go a smidge darker, just a smidge. And sometimes you have to dim the light a little bit so we can see the contrast. Okay, let me just do that again. And I'm just doing like a scooching motion, just a back and forth, not really doing little circles because it's expanding the graphite kind of to the size of the tip. Actually, I mean, it's not completely to the size of the tip because it would cover the whole thing. But yeah, so that's neat. Then, so you could just do that. But I'm thinking I'm going to just pick one side. Maybe, oh, okay, let's just do it. I'm going to pick the right side to put the shading. And this is just, I was doing a coin toss in my head. So, and then I'm going to do the right side on the other. Just want to turn that a little bit. You can do the other side. It's totally fine. Like I said, I was just kind of flipping the coin in my head. And see how that's adding just some depth. Now, with this, if you've colored in or filled in all of the little spaces, maybe give it a little bit to dry, because sometimes when we're adding graphite, like right afterwards, or just be careful with the tortillon, especially if you're using Zentangle original supplies, because then it, sometimes it might pick up the paper and stuff like that. So there we go. And then if you want to have some fun, I'm just going to do, for right now, well, let's see. If I did that side, I guess I should continue, right? Let's do like that. I started off thinking one thing, and then I was like, "Oh no, no, let's just come a little bit away from the edge." Ooh, we could do that on all of them. So just like that, or however it's, they're kind of positioned. So still just on that one side. Here, I'll just put a little, because there would be some there and there. It just adds a little something. Oh, and then of course it would be for sure right there. Ooh, let's contrast. Oh, I guess it's just a little lighter. There we go. That helps. Some days this camera lately has been quite picky with the with the auto adjusting. Let's try it right from here. Oh no, that's the sorry. No, this is not. This is not your eyes. It is your TV set. What is? How does that? I forget how the saying goes. Don't adjust your TV set. Those are the outer limits or Twilight Zone or something. All right, but it gives it just some shape and some dimension, and it's neat. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, would love to have you click like. Feel free to share it. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you became a subscriber to the channel. And that, of course, is free. I mention that because I've had a couple people that didn't realize that you can subscribe to a YouTube channel and it doesn't cost you anything. There are some things, I mean, you have to beware, but in general, it doesn't cost you anything. If you there are different things on YouTube that you can subscribe to, their services that are not. But generally, a channel is definitely free. Um, in the description section, I mentioned links to the step outs, also ways to connect with me if you wish. I do classes almost twice a week, some free, some paid. Um, would love to have you come. Besides checking me out, we have a lot of fun, but we also have a wonderful Tangle Addicts community. We have fun while we're tangling. I will warn you of that. And but we create a lot of really really neat work. So would love to have you join us sometime. All right, so check out that description section. And with that, thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.